Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. And now, live, it's time!
This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of another purge of the BS, sanctioned by the First Amendment. Frustration levels 0 to 100 have been authorized for use during this purge. All weapons are restricted. Government officials have not been granted immunity from the purge of the BS and shall undoubtedly receive the smoke. Commencing at the sound of the gong, any and all BS, especially unnecessary goofiness, will be purged without consequence. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be available, but they will be busy because they too will be watching the purge of the BS. Blessed be those who have already been victims of some BS. May God be with you all.
We can enter any home we want. And we will one. His warnings are will on this fine night. Don't force us to hurt you. He's just a purge. To the center.
You better find someplace else to go.
I got a wicked sweet tooth tonight. And I want my candy back.
I believe we are live for another purge of the BS on a Saturday night. Nonetheless, special episode tonight is called Zero Tolerance on Demand. We have no tolerance for the BS, so we're going to go ahead and purge that BS tonight. So for anybody that's new to the show, I appreciate y'all stopping by. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and make sure you don't miss another live. Shouts to IMZ in the chat. First one in the chat. There you go. I see it popped up on the screen here. So I know my chat is working. I know my sound is working. and I know it's time to purge some BS. So, before I get fully started here, before I get out of wax and out of sights here, I gotta thank everybody for the recent support. Y'all have really been helping the channel out. So everybody that's been sharing the lives and the folks who've been sharing the shorts and stuff, I really want to thank y'all for doing that. And it is very much appreciated. I will be honest with you, because I know that it doesn't work unless it works with you. So I know that for a fact, and I appreciate y'all for it. That's all I'm going to say on that. But today we have a lot to cover. Tonight's theme is simple. People keep testing their limits until their limits get tested. And they test them as if the consequences don't exist. And then they act surprised when everything blows up in their face when they're in public, right? So we're going to start in one area and move to a couple of other areas, but we're going to cover a few different things tonight. We're going to be covering, what do we have tonight? What's on the situation tonight? Let me see here. Let me make sure I got the lineup correct on this one here. All right, so we got ChatGPT gets charged with some stuff in an interesting story. We're going to actually hit that first. We got a Ring camera video that catches some dude wilding out. Got to go over that. A wandering toddler gets picked up in the middle of the street. And of course, there's some additional information that comes in around that. We got a guy who was a repeat PDFer and got the most interesting penalty I've heard of in recent history. And we also were going to cover this whole Diddy situation and him possibly oiling up and sliding himself out of jail. So we're going to cover that as well. So, and of course, we got to talk about this Gucci Mane situation, because as I said the other day, the so-called culture has had this interesting response to that situation. We're going to cover that as well. So everybody strap up, get ready, because we are about to purge some BS. So special shouts to everybody who is already in the chat, especially IMZ for being the first to come onto the chat. And shouts to Al Bond as well for jumping in there as well. I got my mods ready. I got my topics ready. I think it's about time that we purge some bullshit over here. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Let's go.
Attorney General says he is opening an investigation into OpenAI, tying the company not just to broader concerns about children and AI, but also to the 2025 Florida State campus shooting. Capitol reporter For Saunders takes a look.
Florida Attorney General James Othmeyer.
All right, I'm gonna stop you right there, because I've already had an issue with this guy when he was talking about the Rooney Rule. So I'm not a fan. Okay, I don't know if you guys are James Othmeyer fans if you're a Floridian, but I'm not a fan. Every time I see him, he's always talking about some bullshit. Like he's involving himself in some way in something that's kind of like a waste of time and resources, in my opinion. Okay, I'm sure that somebody it's valuable, but to me, no. I smell bullshit every time I see his face.
Myers says OpenAI is now under investigation.
Today, we formally launch an investigation into OpenAI, and subpoenas are forthcoming.
The probe, says the AG, is all about public safety, national security, and whether AI tools are being used in dangerous ways. That includes, he claims, the 2025 FSU shooting that killed 2 and injured 6.
As big tech rolls out these technologies, they should not, they cannot put our safety and security at risk.
The scrutiny comes after ChatGPT records tied to the accused gunman, Phoenix Eichner, showed a disturbing progression from despair and suicide questions to asking when the FSU student union is busiest, also how the country would react to a shooting at the school. And
did he look like that before he got locked up? Or did this happen in the scuffle? Because, you know, in this shot, he has that sort of a I might be crazy look to him. So you gotta, I'm not gonna blame ChatGPT for not notifying somebody, because I think that's where they're about to get to. Like if ChatGPT hears you talking some craziness, it's supposed to notify the FBI or something like that. ChatGPT is supposed to snitch, is what they're saying. They haven't gotten to it yet, but I can smell it. I smell that's where they're gonna go with this whole thing. But the point I'm trying to make is this was a human. So the neighbors around should also be paying attention. And they should be able to make some phone calls if necessary as well. I'm just saying. This guy looks crazy. He does.
The number of victims needed for media attention, all of it asked just minutes before Eichner is said to have opened fire. In a statement about the records, OpenAI says after learning about the shooting last April, it identified a ChatGPT account believed to have been associated with the suspect.
Oh, that's what he looked like before he got locked up or before ChatGPT? Because if that's what the change was, then damn it, ChatGPT needs to go down for whatever they've done to this young white man who's supposed to be the most protected class in the United States. We can't allow ChatGPT to take down the young white man. Okay.
And proactively shared the information with law enforcement. The company added, quote, "We build ChatGPT to understand people's intent and respond in a safe and appropriate way. And we continue improving our technology." Okay. While the records are now part of a forthcoming lawsuit against OpenAI, Florida prosecutors are being far more careful about what they'll say publicly.
Certainly there is evidence concerning ChatGPT, but I won't be commenting on the evidence at all until we're in the courtroom.
State Attorney Jack Campbell says AI records are becoming part of a wider universe of digital evidence investigators now use to understand what someone is doing and thinking before a crime.
How someone has been interacting with that ChatGPT or other platforms of AI often gets us information about what they were doing, what they were thinking, and how they were doing it.
It's unclear the full scope of Uthmeier's effort, but the forthcoming subpoenas could reveal just how aggressively Florida plans to test where AI responsibility begins and where criminal accountability still rests with the person behind the keyboard. At the Capitol, Forrest Saunders, WPTV News.
All right, we got the story. So, like I said, I knew they were going to get there. Basically, if you start talking something crazy to ChatGPT, it's supposed to. They want it to notify somebody. This guy wants it to notify somebody, like the police. So you could be just joking around with ChatGPT and put in some hypothetical scenario, and if you put in the wrong keywords, or in their case the right keywords, then SWAT team will be knocking at your door. So he didn't necessarily put in regulations ideas. He put in the idea of suing them for the deaths of people because somebody utilized it to find out what's the busiest time at a campus, when is there less people, in certain areas, what's the easiest way to access the campus, that kind of stuff, which is really shit you can find on Google. So there was nothing really nefarious about what they said he was looking up on there, but he may have planned something. All right, I'm trying to justify what they're saying is the problem, but I can't really understand what the issue is. If he didn't look up anything nefarious on ChatGPT, how are you going to sue ChatGPT because he went and did something nefarious? He's a human. The ChatGPT didn't tell the guy to go do that. It may have told him where was the easiest way to get on the campus, but without knowing that he was planning on assassinating everybody. See, I need more. I need more, because I'm already saying this was going to be a waste of resources. That's what I said. I said I feel like it's going to be a waste of resources. But at the end of the day, what James Uthmeier is asking for is for ChatGPT to be a digital snitch. When you're interacting with the AI, if you say something wild, it tells the police on you. And that doesn't even sound smart to me. That sounds kind of stupid, and it also sounds like some bullshit. Anyway. Like y'all not seeing enough. Y'all don't have enough access to the things that I'm already dealing with, that now you want ChatGPT to notify the police. It's not even just to keep records so that they can come back later and look at it. No, just like send an alert to the police. What if it's wrong? ChatGPT be wrong sometimes. I know a lot of people think AI is never wrong. No, AI is wrong a lot. A lot. So if it's wrong in that and the damn SWAT team comes crashing through your window, I think that would be a problem. So yeah, we definitely don't need that. We don't want that, and that's some bullshit. That's some definite bullshit. So let's see what we got next. What do we have next? So a wandering toddler. Oh boy, here we go with this bad parenting shit again. A wandering toddler gets a Miami mommy arrested. And I guess they mean Miami mommy like she's the mother. Well, let's see what this story is about, because I'm already a little perturbed. I'll use that word on this one. I'll use a 12-point Scrabble word for y'all. Perturbed about this one, simply because I don't like when people don't pay attention to their children. So I'm wondering what the situation was. Now, if it was somehow she looked one way, the child ran another way, and then she looked the other way, didn't see the child go this way, and went this way looking for the child was going a whole different way, I'll allow it. I'll still say you're not aware of your surroundings, but I'll allow you to have made the mistake of your toddler escaping from you with that, right? But I feel like this is not going to be that. You know why I feel like that? Because I've always found more stories of negligent parents than I find of like really slick ass, stealthy children when it comes to wandering children. There's always somebody asleep, somebody's drunk, somebody went to the bar, somebody did something. So we're going to find out what this Miami Mami did to get her ass arrested on a wandering toddler situation. Let's find out what's going on. Oh, we are just in Florida today. So this is a WTF episode here. And everybody who's been part of the channel, y'all know what WTF stands for. Here at the Purge of the BS is, well, that's Florida. So let's see what else we got going on in the floor.
Mother under arrest after her 6-year-old son was found walking alone late last night. It took police hours to find out who the boy belonged to. Local 10's Aaron Mabin live in Miami with the arrest report and what it revealed, Aaron.
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, it reveals a lot, Louis. This was truly a case that puzzled police. A little boy found walking the streets all by himself, no family in sight. But Miami police found the boy's mother, and she's in jail tonight.
Yeah, she should be.
A Miami mother is behind bars facing a child.
It looks like she's had a rough day. I'm not assuming anything about any substances in her system at all. The bags under her eyes just say she has had a rough day. Okay? So, the fact that she lost her child, let's not jump to any conclusions yet. Maybe there's a very perfect and valid reason for how she lost her child.
Child neglect charge after police say her 6-year-old son was found wandering the streets overnight. Police say a man found the boy near Northwest 7th Avenue and Northwest 17th Street around 11 Wednesday night.
He was just sleeping on the street there, and when he saw this child, then did the right thing by taking the child to a nearby business.
Hold on, wait a second. The child was sleeping there, or the man was sleeping there? And then he just saw a child walk up and was like, "Hey, little boy, what's up? What you doing out here?" Maybe I missed it. Hold on, let me see it. Context is a lot when you hear about these things.
On the street there, and when he saw he was just sleeping on the street there, and when he saw this child, then did the right thing by taking the child to a nearby business and calling the police from there.
A new arrest report says when police interviewed the boy, he said, quote, "Mommy dropped me off and left me." Police say the boy had limited speech, so they put out a flyer to help find his family.
Wow.
Not only identifying this child, but also identifying the parents. We don't know the status of the parents.
Police say the boy's school notified officers of the child's name and his mother's name, now identified as 30-year-old Annie Rivera. An arrest report says police found a DCF intake from 2025. The allegations were concerns with inadequate supervision. The investigation led officers to an apartment on Northwest 7th Court, where police took Rivera into custody for questioning.
All right, hold on a second now. So she didn't call the police to report her child missing. Like, let's get to that. Let's get to that. They didn't address it directly, but I didn't hear that, so that's why I know that that's not what happened, because they said that they had to put a sign out and an advertisement to try to find out who this child's mother was. Not that somebody found a child and they were already notified that there was a missing 6-year-old. Okay, wait a second. So mommy dropped me off and left me. All right, I was trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. I tried, but I knew this was going to be some of that bullshit again. Take care of your damn kids, man.
Nearly 12 hours after her son was found, police say Rivera told detectives she had no idea the child was gone.
Oh, thank God that he wasn't hurt. The kid is in good health.
And that boy was found about a block away from his home. But remember, he wasn't able to speak for himself. So there was so much confusion overnight, leading to that desperate search for answers. Now, Rivera did talk to police during questioning, but it's not known what exactly she said because police redacted that section in their police report.
What?
Tonight, the little boy is safe in DCF custody.
All right, guys, hold on now. Let me find this lady again. See where she's at. The one that had the rough day. Is that the one? She was back here somewhere. Because we need to discuss this. We need to discuss this. All right, this is Miss Rivera, I think her name is, whose child, 6-year-old, was found and had been missing from her side for 12 hours, or from her care for 12 hours on the street. And she never reported the child missing. So she didn't know the child was even gone. So I got some questions here. I got some real questions here. Let's start with the very simple question, like, what other family does this child have? Because obviously this mother doesn't give a shit about this child. Like, I mean, how much more evidence do y'all need? I don't know. What's up, Purple Groovy? I see you in there. I see you in the chat. Miss Rivera, I have something very special to announce to you. You are just the worst type of person.
Oh, you are just the worst type of person.
And you should be arrested. You should be locked up. And you shouldn't have any access to that child no more. 12 hours, 6-year-old child. You had no idea they were gone. I mean, you dropped them off in the house. Now, there's always the flip side to the bullshit, right? There's a chance, there's a perfect chance that this lady is struggling and working 2 jobs and doing everything she can to provide for her son. And she had to go work overnight or whatever at the cleaning spot that she works at because she only gets minimum wage. And she was in there doing, the best she could do with her back breaking, and the boy can't speak, so she didn't call him, you know what I'm saying? Like, hello? I can hear you breathing. You see what I'm saying? That was the phone call. That she couldn't make that phone call. So she was working, doing everything she can for the child, and then she ends up not knowing the child is gone because she's at work. That was me trying to play devil's advocate, I guess. But I'm going to say this right now. This woman's whole situation is basically some bullshit. There's really not much I can say about this. Like, she's a bad mother, and there's a lot of bad parenting out there. We've been trying to talk about that and identifying. As a matter of fact, I got flagged for talking about bad parenting, and I have proof. I got flagged in my situation in YouTube for a clip I put out a little earlier today about bad parenting. I didn't say anything. I don't even think I may have used some profanity, maybe, like one word. But other than that, I was pretty clean. I was telling the statement about teen takeovers and that their parents needed to be held accountable for those actions, right? It got flagged for suitability, saying that it was a content, it was sensitive and not suitable for viewers. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. Meanwhile, I can see this story come down the timeline with this lady who let her 6-year-old child be gone for 12 hours, and she didn't even know the child was gone. So hopefully I don't get flagged for this story. I don't know what this is going to say. But if I get flagged for this story, I don't care. I just wanted to say I'm sick and tired of badass parents. When you suck at parenting and it's like they act like there's nothing they can do. I don't know where the father is. I don't know what other family members they have, but it's obvious she's not a good parent. So when you make a choice and decision to maybe put that child in a different situation, I don't think that's bad. I think that's worth doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe if you think about the child's future, you might be a little bit quicker to not let this lady continue to commit these types of acts, because as you keep letting these people do it, they got a call. CPS had already come out there for a neglect investigation, so they already know something's up. So if, fortunately the child was found alive, he wasn't hit by a car or nothing like that. He was out in the middle of the street sleeping. If that was my child and this was his mother, I'd be in emergency custody court the next day. And I would take my child and I would raise my child and keep my child as far away from this crazy person as it could be. But we're talking about family court in that case, and everybody knows that family court is some bullshit. So I'm moving on. All right. Zero tolerance, huh? We're keeping it going. Zero tolerance for the bullshit. She did that. She went to jail, as she should. Zero tolerance for the bullshit. I want to congratulate everyone else who's new to the channel for their new tolerance level to the bullshit. We have zero tolerance on demand to this day. To this day. We don't play about this, because the more we don't address the bullshit, the more it continues to just be kind of cyclical and happen over and over and over and over again. We gotta kill it when we see it. Kill everything you see. And I don't mean people. I'm talking about the bullshit. That whole woman, she knows somebody. She had some friends. Somebody probably knew she was leaving that kid in the house. That's probably how they ended up going over there for an investigation. But they didn't push that hard. They might have said something once, not really thought about it after that. Like, yeah, well, I said something. You can't say I didn't say anything. That's how they do. All right, so what do we have? What do we have going on here next? What do we have next? Okay, we got this dude. All right. So apparently, I will say this. I do appreciate the new age of Ring cameras, because you do catch some wild shit on a Ring camera. When people are in front of the door and just doing stuff, running away from the dog and jumping over a fence. I love those videos, by the way, with the dogs running after people and they're hopping fences. I don't know why I like those. It's kind of a guilty pleasure. I don't want them to get hurt. I just think it's very athletic watching how they hop over stuff and escape these little ankle biter dogs. So apparently somebody's Ring camera caught a hysterical man banging on their door for basically no reason. Like, I don't think he even knew the person whose house he was at. He was just tripping. And I don't really understand why he would be tripping, but I don't think it matters. I think what matters is he was on that bullshit, and it must be purged. It must be purged. So let's bring this story over to y'all real quick, man. Shouts again to Purple Groovy, Al Bond, IMZ, any of the new subscribers, any of the new viewers, anybody that's watching from the stands. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the notifications. You know all that shit you're supposed to do on YouTube. That thing. All right. Let's see what this story is about. Whoa.
Hello?
Can you open this door, please?
For what?
I just want to make sure that everything's okay.
Wait a second. Did he start with the screaming and then get calm? Or was that like I'm going to let it play. I need to see what happened.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I just figured I'd check on something.
I don't know what you want, man. Get out of my house.
Oh, fucking door.
Oh, he kicked himself back.
Where's your daughter, man?
What are you talking about?
Where's your daughter? Who's in there with you?
Bro, if you don't leave...
Open this fucking door. Open this door, I'm breaking it fucking down. You understand me?
Leave my house. You don't...
Are you okay? Is everyone in this house okay?
What? Everyone's okay. What do you want?
Call the police. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to know what you want. I'm not asking these questions anymore. He's asking, what do you want? I don't need to know what you want. I know I want you off my porch. So I'm calling the police. Because if I don't call the police, I got to deal with you myself. And you may not make it out of that alive. So I'll call the police to spare you. Because I'm nice like that. You see what I'm saying? I'm a generous person. I don't want to have to take your life. I don't. So I'm not going to ask you what you want. I don't give a damn what you want. That's all I'm saying. He's being real nice. You knocking on my door, I don't know you, you got the damn flip-flops on, you look crazy anyway. You got a trench coat and flip-flops on. Anybody that wears a trench coat and flip-flops is crazy. These are the signs. I've been telling y'all, you got to see the signs. You got to look for the signs. And when you see the signs, pay attention to them. Trust your gut. You can see crazy a block away before it gets close enough to you to actually affect you. You can see it. You just got to look for it.
Okay, what do you want?
Get this dude. Yo, I'm calling the... like a bad horror movie. And he's just gonna stand there? He's just gonna stand there. And then he's gonna freak out. Okay.
Can you leave my house, please?
You open the door, please.
You have nothing to do with my house. Can you leave my house?
You know what my name is?
Your name
I don't know who you are. You don't belong in this neighborhood.
John Damn Doe with a toe tag is about to be your name if you do not get off my porch this instant. I want people to be nice to each other. I do. In a general sense, I want people to be nice to each other. But I'm realizing some situations don't allow for that. Some situations you have to be an asshole directly, disrespectfully. You see what I'm saying? He's not being disrespectful enough to this man because he's not moving at all. And so there's going to be a quick conversation that I have. I'm going to tell him about the police. Then I'm not going to say nothing else. If I say anything else, it'll be me saying something to him after something else has been done by me. I'm not talking. I don't understand what all this fucking conversation is about.
Sure.
This is my neighborhood, though.
Is it?
Yeah, I live there. I don't know you.
My name is Harry Dresden, motherfucker.
Oh, my God.
Open the door. This is my neighborhood. Open the fucking door.
Yo, he's really doing. Oh my God!
I will fucking end you. Do you understand me?
You're tripping, yo. He is tripping. I probably would have laughed too. I get it. I would have laughed at that part. That it wasn't meant to be funny. Officer, I was fearing for my life. I discharged my weapon, and this is what happened. I didn't know any other way to deal with the situation, officer, and we live in a concealed carry state. Or open carry state. Or in my house carry state. Officer, like this is, the guy, I think the guy wasn't actually home. I think that was part of it. I think he was just looking on the Ring, because the Ring thing can come to your phone and you can talk through it and all that kind of stuff. So I'm thinking maybe he just was talking to him, but he wasn't actually in the house to do any of these things that I'm talking about. So I could be assuming incorrectly in that. So if that was the case, then I guess it's still too much talking. I would have called the police. Like the first 30 seconds of this would have been, hey, if you don't get your ass off my porch with your flip-flops and your trench coat immediately, the authorities will be contacted to help you with that. And then I'm not going to say nothing else. There's no more discussion to be had at that point. If I'm not there, hey, there's a dude on my porch. I don't know who he is. And I want him off my porch. But then when he starts doing all this other crazy shit, this right here, when he gets up on the door and starts yelling, this shit, all of this, all of this, all of this, all of that, all of that. See, right in there, there's a house across the street. Y'all didn't hear that? I blame them as well. The authorities should have been called already. As soon as they saw this man walking up the street with a trench coat and flip-flops on, I would have called for suspicious character. He's suspicious. They would have said, what's suspicious about him? Officer, he has on a trench coat and flip-flops. Something just don't add up with that. I feel like that's enough to warrant some type of a report. Something. And then he started doing all this. No! Nobody called him.
I'll fucking kill you!
Yep, you hear all that? All across the street. Okay, so the point I'm trying to make is this. Okay, this gentleman was crazy for at least a good 3 minutes in this video. And nobody called nobody on this guy. And see, this is how crazy people get to do the kind of shit that they do. Because when we have an opportunity to pounce and be on top of this crazy stuff, we allow it to continue. We can't allow this to continue. This is somebody knows this guy, and they knew he was crazy. He didn't just that morning wake up, throw on the trench coat and flip-flops and snap this whole situation. No, he been crazy. This is my neighborhood. He said, I'm John, whatever his name was. Like his name meant something. This guy's certifiably crazy. But he's walking the streets. So I need the neighbors. I need the person on the Ring camera. I need everybody in that neighborhood. I need y'all to be on the lookout for crazy and say something about it. Stop letting people be crazy. If I'm sitting in my house across the street and I'm hearing somebody scream at the top of their lungs, I'm gonna fucking kill you and all that kind of stuff, I'm calling the police. You see what I'm saying? Like, oh, he's snitching. Yo, I don't know what's going on over there, but I don't want it to come over here, so I need y'all to go over there and see what's going on over there. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Now, I see my man Al in there saying, well, I got big dogs. Yeah, and the dogs would have handled this situation in the first 30 seconds. That's why I'm saying, if the guy wasn't there, then sort of makes some sense, but the amount of conversation didn't make sense at that point. Because it's like, well, I'm not there, so I'm not going to take any chances. I'm going to call the police. So the issue I'm having is we never really figured out what he was there for. So he could have been there because somebody stole some money from him, right? He was looking for this person's daughter, which is weird because you come to my place looking for my daughter, it ain't gonna be a long conversation at all. Especially if you come dressed like that. You got on ass whooping clothes. That's an ass whooping outfit. Like if somebody walks up in that outfit, they're asking for the ass whooping. And you as a regular human and standard person of regular morals, right? Regular outlook on life, it is your responsibility to deliver said ass whooping. An ass whooping received is an ass whooping deserved, but you got to make sure it's deserved. And if you come out with a trench coat and flip-flops on, banging on people's doors, making all this damn noise, it's a residential district. You deserve at least feet and hands for about 15 straight seconds from multiple, 2 to 3 people putting you in the grass and giving you a couple of get right kicks. That's all I'm saying. So there's a certain level of entitlement that this guy has that he can even walk around and do all that. So he's crazy. Yeah, we get that. But the fact is, he didn't just turn crazy today. So everybody that turned their backs and was like, oh, don't worry about whatever that guy's name was. He's harmless. He's not harmless. And I blame y'all for not telling nobody about him and letting him walk around the damn neighborhood like that, because that is some bullshit. Seriously. They just let him be out there. They let them be out there. They let them. They let them be out there and then be like, where'd that come from? Man, you live right next to him for 15 years. You saw this dude kept cutting the grass when it was raining. You knew something wasn't right with him. You didn't say nothing. I blame you too. Anyway, taking a quick break here. Special shouts to Genesis for jumping into the chat over there. Special shouts to IMZ, Purple Groovy, Albon, my mods in there, just keeping an eye on things. Thank y'all for hanging out with me on a Saturday night, man. Appreciate y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. See? Make sure you hit the like button. That's all y'all got to do. I know I'm getting in trouble right now because I'm talking about a specific protected group with a lot of these stories. And it's unfortunate. But I'm going to get to Gucci Mane situation. I'll bring it back to the black in a little bit. But for right now, we got some crazy white people. We can't talk. The bullshit has no color. It has no race. It just exists, and we must purge it. Anywhere it is seen from anybody, it doesn't matter who, it doesn't matter if it's your own mama. When she be on some bullshit, you gotta deal with it. You gotta deal. You, right there, you watching, gotta deal with it. Don't let it get past you. Because then it gets to me, and then I'm ignorant, and then all of a sudden I'm the bad guy. And you the bad guy. You shouldn't have let it get past you like that. Anyway, shouts to Jen and everybody coming into the live late a little bit. I know I pissed off the algorithm earlier, which is fine. I do that at least once a week. And I figured they weren't going to push out as many notifications today, but that's okay. That's okay. I got who I want, you know. I got the necessary folks here making sure that we get through this next purge. So this next one we got here, I don't want to call this a feel-good story, but basically a person was convicted of sexual crimes against children, and they were sentenced. And their sentence included a penalty that I had personally never heard of before, and I believe that if they impart these penalties a little bit more frequently, that they might be able to help curb some of this wild-ass activity of people messing with the damn kids. Just my thought. So let me bring this story over to you guys. This is a reading rainbow story. So we're going to be reading this one, okay? This is red. No, actually, no, there's a video in here. Sorry, there's a video. Check it out. Jen, if I didn't know that you were talking about my curly hair, it's curly because I have hair. You know, there's people my age, and this is Genesis in the chat. You know I love you. You know that. She's talking about my hair being a little longer than normal. Well, you know, I'm growing it out. I want to fight the power or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to grow out my afro. Let them know I don't care. I'm not here for a haircut. I'm here to purge the bullshit, right? So, nonetheless, you guys may or may, let me make sure that on the vertical feed, I bring this story over just a smidgen here. So the judge in this particular case, let me bring this to you, sentenced a man to castration and then let him decide between two options. Yes, a Louisiana judge sentenced a man to castration. If you don't know what castration is, you can look it up, but I can just tell you that your lower area doesn't work no more. It gotta go, okay? And I thought castration was always done with, you know, on some Lorena Bobbitt type of stuff. They just some scissors or something and just slap and take it off. But apparently that's not how it's done. I don't know. Either way, the end result is not good. So let's see the story here. Ooh, okay. Hold on.
Your crime tracker. A Shreveport man with a history of sexual offenses has been found guilty of second-degree rape involving a teenage family member. The district attorney's office tells us that 61-year-old Floyd Lee Cathron has been convicted of second-degree rape involving a teenage family member. Prosecutors also presented evidence of Cathron's prior convictions for sexual crimes involving children. He now faces up to 40 years in prison. Your crime tracker.
They said 40 years in prison. That's not the same thing. So nonetheless, the judge issues a unanimous guilty verdict for this guy after some testimony from multiple people, including the victim. The district attorney's office said that it would pursue castration due to his criminal history and latest conviction. So I didn't know that was on the plate. In Louisiana, apparently that is on the plate. If you harm people, you shouldn't be allowed to possibly procreate. That's what they said. Getting someone pregnant through rape should never be an option. So if you are I'm sorry, I used the word, I said the R word, but that's what this is about. This gentleman repeatedly did that shit, and they took the type of justice that, I hate to say it, but we applaud this type of justice here on this channel. We applaud this justice. Hold up, is this the same story? That's a different story. All right, so that's the comments on this story. So nonetheless, I forgot to tell you that basically the option that he gave the guy, and it was this guy, it's the same guy, was either he could have surgical castration or chemical castration. He asked him if he wanted to take the stairs or the window. And either way he chose or chooses, he's losing that thing. It's got to go. They don't want him to ever even, they basically neutering him. You know what I'm saying? But that's our legal system. I mean, we got the death penalty for some, and this ain't death. This is the next worst thing. Honestly, death might be better. Like, you wake up the next day and you just ain't got no Johnson. You got like a tube sticking out of you so you can pee, but you can't do nothing. They done got rid of the whole twig and berries. So I'm not mad at what they're doing. I'm saying, like I said, this is the kind of justice that we normally applaud around here. So I'm not going to say anything's wrong with that, because I don't like when they mess with the kids. And if that's what you was doing, and you got found guilty 3 times on that kind of situation, I don't give a damn if you're 61. You probably weren't going to create any new children anyway, but let's not take any chances. You know what I'm saying? So, nonetheless, I wonder how that conversation went. I wish I had some footage of it. Like, when he comes to the guy, he says, look, I'm going to give you 2 options. Either way, this thing is going. Right? The thing you got down there won't be there when we're done with this. But you got 2 options. We can either burn it off with chemicals. We can freeze it with, nitrogen or something, some liquid nitrogen, and then snap the shit off like the person's hand on the Snowpiercer show when it was outside the wind and they just break the hand off after it freezes. They could do that. That's one type of chemical castration. Surgical castration is I guess they put you to sleep, and then they just go down there and they just, and then I guess they sew it back up and put a little straw out there just so you can keep peeing. I mean, this is what we asked for, guys. This is the kind of justice that we're talking about. When you do these kind of heinous crimes, you do not deserve to have certain things for the rest of your life. You don't deserve to even have consensual sex no more. That's what they're saying. You don't even deserve to do that with another adult. You've lost your rights and privileges to possibly penetrate somebody in any way with anything other than this fucking flexible straw that we about to put down here for you so you can pee. Oh, man. But I applaud Louisiana for standing 10 toes down, because the fact that he even was out there 3 times to R-word 3 different under 13-year-old girls was actually the biggest part of that bullshit. But they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to have that conversation. They don't want to have that conversation. So let's start to get into it. So we got our zero tolerance on demand. A bunch of people thought it was going to be an episode talking about no snitching. This is all about snitching. This whole episode is about snitching. The repeat sex offender, whoever his victims were, I'm glad they snitched, so he can get the type of punishment that's necessary for doing that kind of goofy shit. Snitch. Don't listen to that goofy shit. Don't stop snitching. Because they changed the whole snitching definition. That was the problem. Snitching is when you go commit a crime with other people. You know, you and somebody else, or you and a couple other folks. And then when the police find you and they haven't found anybody else, you tell on everybody to lessen the charge that you got as the first person. Because technically you have all the leverage at that point, because you can turn everybody in. You can tell the police, look, I can give you more names. So that's snitching, okay? If you are a victim of a crime, like somebody R-words you, and you tell the police, that is not snitching. That is called reporting a crime. And that's what we're allowed to do here in America. So all of that, you know, let people just do shit to you and you don't say nothing because of some code of the streets or something. That's the dumbest shit y'all done said in a minute. And y'all keep sticking to it, even with the Gucci Mane situation, which we're going to come to in just a moment. Because he put out a whole diss track about, which is laughable to me, but we got to cover it. We got to cover it. Okay? So, before we get to that situation, I know I mentioned to y'all that we were going to talk about Diddy possibly sliding up out of this jail thing. And apparently this is real. I thought it was bullshit initially. I thought somebody was playing with me about this whole, you know, Diddy's getting ready to slide up out of jail because, you know, it was kind of a baby oil reference and there was some slippery situations going on. And I really thought everybody was playing, but apparently no. This is not a joke. This is not a drill. This is actually real. So let me bring this story over here to you. Where's that link? Where is the said link? And y'all tell me in the chat, do you think Diddy is going to get out of jail? I'm gonna share the story, and then once we hear it, or at least what they're saying, then we can go.
There is a good chance.
We can go with a little quick conversation about it. Okay, just hold on. Hold on a second here. Let's go.
That Diddy could be eating dinner at his home tonight.
Why can't I hear this?
Man. And that's because an appeals court is now hearing the review of the trial in which Diddy was convicted of violating the Mann Act.
All right, hold on.
And his defense lawyers are making
Let's
two
put
arguments
the captions on
that could sway these judges and make them overturn the conviction. Let me explain both. So the first is that the defense says that the violation of the Mann Act is to prohibit the transportation of prostitutes across state lines, and it's typically for commercial purposes. That's where they've used it before. In this case, the defense is saying this is nothing more than kinky porn, and kinky porn is protected by the First Amendment. Now, that may sound crazy, but I'm going to read you something from their brief.
All right. Well, before we even go into all this, Mr. Harvey Levin or whatever, why didn't they bring this up in the actual trial and then deal with it then, instead of going through it and like not being able to prove this point? If this was the point, why didn't they just prove this point at that point? That's all I'm going to say. Let me see what else they got to say. Hold on.
Listen to this. They say freak-offs and hotel nights were highly choreographed sexual performances involving the use of costumes, role play, and staged lighting, which were filmed so Combs and his girlfriends could watch this amateur pornography later. Pornography production and viewing of this sort is protected by the First Amendment and thus cannot constitutionally be prosecuted. So what they're saying is, look, if you want to use the Mann Act to prosecute people who are moving prostitutes across state lines for commercial transactions, which again is what it's usually used for, that's one thing. But here, there's no commercial purpose. Diddy lost money. He ended up paying the prostitutes. The films were never distributed to anybody. The defense is saying it was for his pleasure and the pleasure of people who may have been participating. So they're saying, look, this is like any porn. It could be OnlyFans. It could be anything like that. And all of that is constitutionally protected and shouldn't be prosecuted. So that's one argument. And I got to say, it is an interesting argument. The prosecutors are saying it's meritless, but I wouldn't be so quick to judge it that way. So we don't know what the prosecution is going to say beyond that in court. But these judges, as I'm recording right now, the judges are hearing these arguments. The second thing they're arguing is that the sentence was totally out of whack.
All right, just hold on a second. So the first thing that they're saying, or the first defense, is that what Diddy was doing wasn't necessarily transporting prostitutes for the purpose of prostitution. He was transporting them so he could have them himself and use them at his own pleasure to create movies that him and his girlfriend watch, which is apparently totally different. So you can hire a prostitute, but you can't force them to be prostitute. Like, I don't. All right, because I'm already getting frustrated. Because at this point, it's like, if they're right, and this is the defense that's necessary, and this is the information that's necessary, then why didn't they just present that in the first place? Because he hasn't done anything new. This is not new information. And the Mann Act isn't new. None of this is new. So why are they waiting till now? Like, honestly, Diddy could just go do his time. Like, just sit it out. Just wait it out, bro. You'll be all right. 50 months. It's already been a couple of months. You got like 45 months left. Yeah, it's going to be a couple of years, but you could just sit it out, because apparently having all the money in the world didn't keep you off of them charges. So even though you were let go on the more serious charges, you had to sit. You had to sit a little bit. So we'll see if they appeal it. But even when they appeal it, there's a process there. So we're still talking months. Anyway, what's the second thing they got?
50 months for violating the Mann Act. And typically, for Mann Act prosecutions, the average is around 15 months. And what the defense is saying is that the trial judge in this case considered all sorts of evidence that he shouldn't have. That the judge, even though Diddy was acquitted of racketeering and sex trafficking, and there was a lot of evidence presented about coercion and force, and the Cassie video was introduced into evidence. The defense is saying none of that should be considered because the Mann Act has nothing to do with that. But they're saying the judge's sentence was colored by all of those things, and the judge threw the book at Diddy when the judge should have just looked at the Mann Act violation and then sentenced appropriately. They're saying the appropriate sentence should have been around 15 months. Well, guess what? Diddy has already served 19 months. So if either of those arguments fly, if the appellate court believes that this is constitutionally protected porn, or if the appellate court believes that the sentence was out of whack and 15 months is more appropriate, either one of those, Diddy is a free man. So the oral argument, as I said, is going on right now. Typically, oral argument. And I'm sure it's going to happen in this case. The judges are not going to rule from the bench. That just never happens.
All right, let's talk about it. So do you guys think Diddy is coming home? Because he definitely made some interesting points there. You know what I'm saying? Like, he definitely made some really interesting points about the certain defenses that they could use to get him out of this. And if any of it holds, he's already served the time that would normally have. So a violation of the Mann Act, if it's 15 months and it's a 15 months per violation, they could hit him with it's 15 months per time he did this. So every time he did a video where he hired somebody to be part of it, that could be part of it. You see what I'm saying? So you may not be able to get out of this with just 15 months. And for me personally, I think Diddy should have just kind of chilled out for a little bit, let the whole Cassie video thing die down a little bit, because that one hit pretty hard. No pun intended. But it was just tough to watch. So you're not going to get past that, not right now. And then if you get out of jail early, the people that felt that there was some justice done are going to feel like there wasn't justice done. So they're going to be upset as well. So I would, if I was Diddy, I'd sit it out. I'd sit it out, plot it out, move some money around, you know, really just come up with the next plan. Because being out on the street right now, they don't really like you like that. That's why Trump Trump pardoned all types of shit. He didn't pardon Diddy. Didn't matter how many parties they was at back in the 90s and early 2000s. So you know what? He should sit it out. He should sit it out. And Al, you're right. He's not getting out. He was an example. He was an example. They put him in jail as an example to any of y'all other niggas with money that think you can just do whatever you want, beat up women and all that in the hotels and just pay off the security staff to not say nothing. You think you're going to live that life, you'll go down too. So he was an example. Diddy was pretty big. And if you're that big and you still can go down, then anybody below that bigness will go down as well. So yeah, he was definitely an example. But I will say this. The arguments are, it's a valid argument, but will it hold up to overturn an existing ruling? I don't see that. Because you have to have new evidence presented to overturn an existing ruling. So they can appeal it, but they can't introduce anything that hasn't already been introduced. So if this was the whole point, they should have been able to make that point in the original trial. And that would have just been the end of that. So, you know what? It definitely starting to sound like some bullshit. Diddy ain't getting out no time soon. See you in 50 months, Mr. Combs. Well, not 50 months. He did, 19 months already? So he'll be out in like 2-3 years. He'll be fine. I'm not losing no sleep over Diddy's sentence. I know people that could do that kind of time standing on their head. Would be happy to hear them kind of numbers. 50 months and you already did 19 of them? Whatever, man. All right, let's see what else we got. Let's see what else we got. Oh, now we're going to get to it. We're going to get to it here. So apparently, like I said, after the recent situation with Gucci Mane, okay, y'all see him on the thumbnail back there. That's who we got on the image. Gucci Mane, for those that don't know, recently was held at gunpoint, forced to sign a release contract for one of his recording artists, and was also robbed at gunpoint for Rolex watches, cash, and whatever else they had at the time. And Gucci told the Federal Bureau of Investigation about it. I don't think he hesitated either. He told the feds by the time they was down the street, he was probably on the phone. And he told the feds what happened. And the feds, of course, arrested well-known rapper Pooh Shiesty. All right. So the culture has decided to ostracize Gucci Mane, saying that he's a snitch because he told the feds about Pooh Shiesty robbing him. But Gucci Mane says, no, I did not tell the feds about Pooh Shiesty robbing me. What I did was I made a diss song and identified a whole bunch of stuff in the diss song, and the federal government used my diss song to say that it's a statement. You know how to use rap songs in testimony now? Well, apparently they did the same with Gucci's new situation. And I'm going to let y'all hear it. I'm going to probably have to stop it a few times just because I don't want no copyright issues. but the name of the song is Crash Dummy, okay? So he wrote this song, I guess in response to being robbed, and then he tells people a story about the robbery in the actual song. So now they're calling him a snitch, and he's saying he's not a snitch because he didn't actually say it. He just wrote it in a song, and because it's in a song, it doesn't make it fact and it doesn't make it testimony. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Let's listen to this illustrious voice of, you already know, of the main Gucci, the main Gooch. And then we're gonna talk about it, because I need to know how y'all feel. Because Gucci ain't no snitch, man. All right, let's see what we got here. I might speed it up.
Go down. Nigga, I hate to see you up. Tell the truth, you went out like a real crash dummy. And after all that, boy, you still signed to me? I'm like Birdman and nigga, this my cash money. And your fat ass flanky, he a stone cold junkie.
Okay, so he comes in. He says you robbed me, but you're still signed to me. So he's he did say that. He didn't say a name yet. Let's just say.
You know I got my bread up. I always keep my head up. I thought it was a business meeting, but it was a setup. I walk in the room, you can feel the pressure building. Niggas got me up the whole time they plotting against me. I don't take it personal. For me, it's only business, and I don't want.
This is probably the best thing that could have happened in his career right here. First of all, Gucci Mane ain't no rapper, like no lyricist. Let me say that. So it's tough for him to come up with content. So this particular situation probably gave him something to write about, and may have been the best thing that ever happened to him, or at least in the last couple of years.
Wanna conversate if it ain't about no million. Don't kill you, make you stronger. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. My money keep getting longer. Now these haters got them knees. You know I gotta move tactical, every move magical. And I'm from East Atlanta, but the diamonds come from Africa. They love you when you're broke, but they hate you when you win. And then when you take a loss, that's when the haters get the grin. All
right, well, I will start this by saying I'm not a Gucci Mane fan as far as like his lyrics. Certain energies in certain songs I do respect. So I'm not expecting some lyrical firestorm to now come out of this man's mouth as he explains a robbery. I'm expecting him to just take me through the details. Now he's on a tangent right now. He started telling me about what he has and jewelry and all this other stuff. He started with the robbery, though. So I'll give him that. He did start there, but then he started saying hate is this, and he took us over to how the haters gonna hate, that whole situation. Let's see what else he's got to say. But
all on you, can't be wearing no disguises. You play stupid games, then you win stupid prizes. Some people like to take a nigga kindness for weakness. I pulled up on business, but y'all was on some weak shit. The artist and the CEO, I wear a lot of hats. They smile in your face, then they stab you in your back. You learn from your daddy, so I guess that is hereditary. I'm that same nigga that put money on your commissary.
Oh, that was interesting. So he said he was the same person that put money on PURGeisode's commissary. He was such a generous person to Mr. Shiesty and still managed to get robbed. But is this snitching? I don't know. I don't think so. I think he just finally had something to freaking write about, and he couldn't pass up this opportunity. Why would you not write a song about it? Like, first of all, didn't y'all want to hear it? What happened? We haven't seen the video. So this is as close to a, blow-by-blow sort of narrative that you're going to get. So we appreciate it. Thanks, Gucci, for telling us what happened that day. Because we're still a little confused as to what happened. But the same details that he just mentioned is the same shit we already know from the news. So what's he snitching on? Anyway, y'all got to stop with this. You snitching. What is he snitching on? We already know all the shit he didn't already say. The people came to the business meeting. It was about his contract. He got robbed. There was guns. Like, this is the police already said all of this. So,
set up the plate like shit not did with Drake, but I ain't easy eating, nigga, and this ain't back in the day. The 10-17, the label, I built this shit from the ground, and I'd be damned if I let a nigga take my shit down. No. Pressure on my chest, but I still ain't pressed. Pen to the paper, but it's under duress. Wow. Read between the lines, I don't settle for less.
Well, he said that, pen to the paper, but it's under duress. He knows his legal, he even knows the law. So maybe he did talk to the feds. But you know what? So what? The problem is he got robbed in the first place. The person that robbed him is the problem, not the fact that he told somebody he got robbed. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. I hope y'all really understand what I'm saying, because we done got shit twisted over the years about what snitching is and what isn't snitching. And I already explained it to y'all, and I'm not going to say it again. And if you don't understand the premise there, then you know what? There's something wrong with you, because it's not that confusing. It's actually not that complex at all. Now, if Gucci was one of the people with him robbing somebody and he told on everybody, that's snitching. But you're the victim of a crime. And as far as your rap career goes, this is the best thing that could have happened to you for a minute, because I ain't heard no Gucci Mane song, nothing recent, in a while. So maybe this gave him a second win. I don't know, maybe we'll see a Gucci Mane comeback as a result of this.
Step up to the plate, my nigga, life is a test. Man, they on that broke shit, and I'm a rich ass exec. The head nigga in charge, is my name on the check. Nigga jealous of me, dog, remind me of my ex. Another day, another dollar, on to the next. I done been betrayed, now my heart turned cold. I done been betrayed, now my heart turned cold. I done been betrayed, now my heart turned cold. My heart turned cold, my heart turned cold.
All right, this is trash, though, by the way. I don't care. Gucci Mane fan, you may be. I don't care. I am a rap fan. I love words that make sense, hooks that hit, and beats that knock. And that is garbage. So, you know what? Fine. You call them what you want to call them, but why don't we just talk about the music and just say the music is garbage? And that has nothing to do with what he was talking about. That doesn't make him a snitch, but it does make him not a really good rapper if his music is garbage. That's garbage. The hook was garbage. The lyrics was like 6th grade level. That was garbage. Are y'all pressing for this? Is that what y'all doing? That's cool. Somebody else told on him on PURGEisode. Well, 8 people did this robbery. So unless it was one of PURGEisode's people, then it was the victims. And they all had the same right as Gucci Mane. You see what I'm saying? We ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna do that. But we're gonna focus on something here, because I'm tired of y'all butchering hip hop and rap music and just throwing it all into the same bowl like it's all the same level of talent here. This is not talent. This is absolute garbage. That's garbage. That's garbage. Sorry, Gucci. I appreciate you coming out. You said what you had to say. You told us a little story about your situation. And we do appreciate some fill-in details but you could have just put that in the interview or something. You ain't had to make no song. That song is whack. That was a waste of studio time and lyrics and air. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I'm just going to be real. That whole song and that whole concept that you decided that that's the first thing you're going to release to people in who knows how long, it's just some bullshit. That's all it is, man. Over that. I don't know, man. Y'all can tell me how y'all feel. I thought it was garbage. I will rest on that too. I will die on that hill. That's garbage. That song is garbage. The hook is garbage. The whole situation is garbage. You could just even listen to the end of it.
I done been betrayed, now my heart turned cold. My heart turned cold. My heart turned cold. I done been betrayed, now my heart turned cold. I done been betrayed.
Sound like some shit Sexy Red need to be on. Or Glorilla or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, just boo. 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 You know what he gets? You know what he gets for that? He gets the tuba. This song was shit. This song was crap. Anyway. So, for those of y'all that have called Gucci Mane a snitch, y'all wrong. He's a victim of a crime. He has every right to report it. And I'm gonna leave it at that. You can talk about street code and all that, but he don't live there no more. So he doesn't have to follow your little stupid ass rules about no snitching and all that. Nah, man, I'm snitching. I'm telling the police where you live at and what time you get off of work. You understand what I'm saying? Anyway, next story, since we're in the music area, I got in some trouble recently for doing a story on a artist named Forgiato Blow. Forgiato Blow is this, he was like a MAGA rapper, and I said was, but I guess he's still that. And he has most recently, somebody gave him an N-word pass, and he's just been swiping that shit everywhere. And I don't know what happened, what triggered it, but as soon as somebody gave him a pass to say and do this, he came out with a song called White Nigga. And we did a story about that song a couple weeks ago. Fuck your pass. So basically, there was some backlash, as you can imagine, to making a song called White Nigga. All right? And so Forgiato Blow decides to do like another nigga song. I know, sounds unbelievable. You got to see it. You got to see it to believe it. So watch this shit.
Nigga, fuck your password. And nigga, fuck your ass for trying to say I'm racist. For saying the same shit you say in the same way every day, bitch. Yeah, okay, bitch. Call me KKK, bitch. Online, but see me out in public. Bet that they don't say shit. I don't need nobody's blessing, nigga. This ain't school, you test me in the answer, Smith and Wesson, nigga. I don't need nobody's blessing, nigga.
All right, hold on just a moment. I thought this ain't even the same song as the White Nigga song, but it's like the same, it's like they shot the video on the same day. Got the same cars, the same like there's like the same stuff going on in the video. Now granted, you could say that most hip hop videos have the same shit going on. So you could just take from whatever blueprint and make a video that way. Maybe he did, but he got into this thing where he wants to say the N-word. Somebody told him to say it, and he just won't stop. And he doesn't care what y'all say about it. So y'all tell me how you feel about it. And is this message actually going to become a unifying message where everybody can just use the N-word and it just doesn't have any power at all? Or is this him shitting on the same culture that accepted him? Because I don't really think he was accepted by black culture. So that's why I'm kind of confused about this whole movement that he's got right now. So.
School, you test me in the answer, Smith and Wesson, nigga. Nah, this ain't clickbait. Nigga, this shit just fake. Nigga, this is who I am, bitch. Ain't shit changed. Set my kick game. Set the big change. Set my whip game. Nigga, my grind insane.
All right, first of all, I'm going to state the obvious. The track is actually pretty fucking hard. But he can't rap that well. Like, he's offbeat. How you offbeat on that track? It's very simple. And you still offbeat. I mean, I'm sure you're going to say, no, that's my flow. No, it sounds like shit. It sounds like garbage. Sounds like garbage. We got 15 seconds left. I think we can do it. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Let's go.
Fresh 10K, the bank don't even gotta check my name. So I'll be damned if you check me, nigga. I said what I said. Niggas ain't did what I did.
See, he's just saying the shit just to be saying the shit. That's what I was saying the last time. Like, you can't just throw the shit in there just because you want to be able to say the shit. He's very adamant about this whole being able to say this word. So now he's just randomly throwing it into a bar, and it's not even making sense. Check it out.
The bank don't even gotta check my name. So I'll be damned if you check me, nigga. I said what I said. Niggas ain't did what I did. Built this shit like aftermath. Feel like y'all some little kids. Bitch, take your dumb ass back to class. I'm a boss like Ross. That means I don't have to ask. That means.
All right, I think that's enough. That's definitely enough of that bullshit. All right, let me tell you what. Before I pass judgment on Forgiato, I wanted to just make a very interesting shout. I don't know if y'all can see these shoes, but they remind me of the shoes from Back to the Future. Remember the Back to the Future Nikes that laced themselves, well, not laced themselves up, but they tightened themselves up? That's what these shoes look like to me. I don't know where the hell he got them from. But nonetheless, I'm going to say this. Look, to each his own. You got your vehicle, you got people, you got some fans, you got a lot going on that would be considered, you're fortunate, right? I don't think he should throw it all away over this whole word thing that he's been doing the last couple of tracks. I don't really follow this guy other than to purge the bullshit, but I think that whatever set him off, he needs to stop that, because it'll die out and then you'll have to die on that hill. You have to stay on that hill and you'll die on that hill. So you can only get so far when you go against the grain. And he's going against the grain a little too hard, and now I'm confused because you a MAGA rapper, and now you using the N-word, but you calling yourself a nigga. It's very confusing. And I'm not even sure how to feel, because technically you're not calling me. Well, honestly, in the song he used nigger outwardly. He said, "Yeah, nigga," like that's outward niggerdom. You can use inward niggerdom. When he says, "Well, I'm just a white nigga," that's inward niggerdom, okay? Which is almost acceptable, because it's kind of like you're calling yourself that, and I'm like, well, what, am I supposed to be offended that you're not calling me that? But you're calling yourself that? I can't be offended that you're calling yourself that. That doesn't make sense. I mean, I'm sure it makes sense to somebody, but it doesn't make sense to me. But I just really want y'all to understand that somebody needs to be the voice of reason for Forgiato. Someone in his circle, somebody close to him, maybe a family member, just sit him down for a second and let's take him in another direction. Because this is self-sabotage. I promise you it's not going to end well if this is the route you continuously want to go on. You'll either get canceled, you won't get certain shows, they'll start calling you a, KKK member. When you go to, a rap show, it's going to be a whole problem. They won't be able to put you on the card with everybody else because you'll say something crazy and the crowd might end up trying to jump on the stage. It's not safe to be around you because of what you're trying to do. And so there's a chance that it's authentic, but I think even if it's authentic, it comes from a place of ignorance. So it's still not a good idea. You see what I'm saying? I think I need somebody to go to Forgiato's house, sit him down on the sofa, and just say, "Hey man, we need you to chill this shit out. Just for a little bit. You made your point. You said what you had to say. Now it's all over the internet. Now everybody knows that you done said the word nigga, like so much that they repeated it in the song as an ad lib. Like they know what they're doing. That's you're not playing with me. So I'd appreciate it if you show the respect of saying you got it out your system and now move back into whatever realm you were in before that wasn't giving you enough recognition that made you step over into this one, because this is a bad place to be. And I promise you, because I know America, this one won't end well. Not at all. Not at all. It's going to end right at the footholds of some bullshit. Seriously. All right. So now we're rounding the last corner here, since we ended up over in MAGA land. I thought you guys should know, anybody who's happy to hear, the whole MAGA situation, they are at total odds right now. And there's definitely been some people who said that would eventually happen. So to the folks who said that eventually the MAGA folks would turn on each other, you were 100% correct, and I would like to give you an applause for that. Yep. You were right. They were unified at first, though. You couldn't break that mold at first. You couldn't break that mold at first. But now they come from all different angles. And so what has now occurred is Donald of the J. Trump has decided that some of these people who were his allies are no longer his friends. And he decided to go to True Social, which is his platform, and pretty much take pop shots at everybody that he don't like. So we're going to go over this post because I thought it was funny. And it's the funny part to me is all of the people he named at some point were diehard Trumpsters, like diehard. So I'm wondering how they feel about what he had to say. And why can't I pull the damn link in here? Where's the link at? There we go. I got it. Sorry. And while you was waiting, I hope you hit the like button. If you didn't, I don't like that at all. That's that bullshit. Anyway, let's bring this thing up here. All right, so the Trumpster put up this post here. I don't know, y'all probably can't even read it. This is crazy. I'm gonna read it for y'all, okay? I'll read it for you. So President Trump put on True Social. I said Social. This is a lot to read, man, and I can read well, but this is a lot of Trump to read. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he says this many words, you can guarantee there's going to be some bullshit in there that you don't really want to even say because it's going to sound crazy. So I'm just preparing y'all for that. So when I cut the shorts from this, y'all will be okay with it. All right. So President Trump said, I know why Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones have all been fighting me for years. That's bullshit because they was on your side anyway, especially by the fact that they think it is wonderful for Iran, the number one state sponsor of terror, to have a nuclear weapon. I don't know. I don't remember them saying that. Okay. Because they have one thing in common, low IQs. Okay. They're stupid people. They know it. Their families know it, and everyone else knows it. Okay. All right. Look at their past. Look at their record. They don't have what it takes, and they never did. They've all been thrown off television, lost their TV shows, and aren't even invited on TV because nobody cares about them because they're nut jobs. Troublemakers, and will say anything necessary for some free and cheap publicity. Project much? Sounds like he's projecting out a little bit. All right, now they think they get some clicks because they have third-rate podcasts, but nobody's talking about them, and their views are the opposite of MAGA, or I wouldn't have won the presidential election in a landslide. I don't know if that's 100% true, but okay. Let's see what else we got here. All right, and MAGA agrees with me. CNN just gave an approval rating of 100% for Trump. Did they? I don't know. Some of this sounds false. I don't know. I'll check it out, but I'm just saying 100% approval rating doesn't make sense because no president has 100% approval rating. So what the hell is he talking about? Okay. Anyway. Not hand-flailing fools like Tucker Carlson, who couldn't even finish college. He was a broken man when he got fired from Fox, and he's never been the same. Perhaps he should see a good psychiatrist. Or Megyn Kelly, who nastily asked me the now famous only Rosie O'Donnell question. Or crazy Candace Owens, who accuses the highly respected First Lady of France of being a man when she's not, and will hopefully win lots of money in the ongoing lawsuit. Actually, to me, the First Lady of France is far more beautiful woman than Candace. In fact, it's not even close. All right, I'm going to pause you right there. I've seen Brigitte Macron. You are not, I don't care what you say. She doesn't look better than Candace Owens, okay? Let's just be honest. You can say it, but it's not true, okay? Just because you said it doesn't make it true. So, sorry, Mr. President, but you way off on that. Brigitte Macron, I can see why somebody might think that she was a man. I'm not saying she was or she wasn't. I'm just saying that I can understand why the mistake would be made initially, if there's a mistake. If it's not a mistake, I can understand why you were led to that conclusion. Anyway, these so-called pundits are losers, and they will always be. Now fake news, CNN, the failing New York Times, and all of the other radical left organizations are hailing them and giving them positive press for the first time in their lives. That's not true either. Megyn Kelly, Candace, and Tucker got pretty big platforms, so this isn't the first time that they had positive press. Somebody likes them. So they're not MAGA, they're losers just trying to latch on to MAGA. Okay. First of all, the fact that he calls the shit MAGA sounds weird to me. Okay. As president, I could get them on my side anytime I want to. But when they call, I don't return their calls because I'm too busy on world and country affairs. After a few minutes, they go nasty, just like Marjorie Trader Brown. Brown. Oh, Trader Brown. The brown, it must be a play on words for her last name being green because that's a color. So I don't know. But I no longer care about that stuff. Oh, okay. So you stopped caring before or after you typed this up? Because with all of this, it definitely seems like you care. It seems like you got a caring spirit when it comes to this topic. And said MAGA is about winning and strength and not allowing Iran to have nuclear weapons. I thought we got past that. I thought we figured out they didn't have that. I digress. MAGA is about making America great again, and these people have no idea how to do that, but I do, because the United States is now the hottest country in the world. That, ladies and gentlemen, was from the President of the United States, Mr. Donald Julius Trump, okay? I'm only playing the applause because I don't have a boo sound effect. I don't have a boo sound effect because I never thought I would need one. But I'm going to tell you right now, if Donald Trump, he's the president, but if you want to act like, because he's acting like them same names that he's talking about weren't the main people that were spreading his particular message, at least some months ago, that's disingenuous. The difference is, and what I've heard from these same people, is that the message that they spread initially, he didn't follow up on, and so now they're upset, which sounds pretty normal if you don't deliver on the promises that you set forth. So I remember on this show we discussed this, that eventually people were going to see that was what was happening, and they were going to turn on Donald Trump. And so now, in turn, he's decided to talk shit about them on True Social and post it over to X. Because he's the president. And so he's going to talk shit about you on social platforms. I'm going to tell you right now, you can't defeat Candace Owens on those social platforms. I'll tell you right now, if you don't know nothing about Candace Owens, I will say this. On behalf of the people that have seen her kind of come through the ranks and what she was doing early on and what she's doing now, she's not the one to play with. She latches on to things, and she has a way of putting words together and concepts together that will make some people think and will make some people believe. So you don't want to play with her. She's way better with words than our own president is. I can say that for a fact. So whether or not she's crazy is beside the point. What I'm saying is she can present a message in a way that you can't, Mr. President. And there's millions of people that have gravitated towards that message. So you do not want to play with her, because what you will guarantee is that anybody connected to you will be dug up. And before it's over with, you're going to be connected to Epstein and all types of shit. So don't play with Candace Owens. I'm telling you right now. I saw that. I saw what happened when she had the issue with Kamala Harris. This woman went to Jamaica to get information and met with this lady in Jamaica. Like, she didn't just stay local and check Google and shit. She went to the root. So she's not to be played with. That's all I'm saying. So if that's what he wants to do, I'm sure Candace Owens would invite it. And I need to know if she has. Let me see something real quick. No, I'm not going to do it from there. I'll do it from here. Let's see what we got here. Yep, she did fire back. Okay, let's see what we got here.
And this is just, let me tell you something, and this is just reality, okay? Going back to just the rules of the jungle. Okay, let all the politicians and advisors around you evaporate for just a moment. Just you and me, ready? People will not fight beside, behind, or for someone who is fundamentally disloyal. Okay? If disloyalty and deceit is in your nature, then I highly suggest that you combine it with silence. You can be what you are, but I would advise you do it quietly, Trump. Because MAGA is no longer commanded by you, and you know it. You know it. You belong to the Epstein class. That is your legacy now. People will see your name on buildings, whatever was agreed upon in those boardrooms with Jared Kushner, Trump, Gaza, hotel, whatever you tweeted. So crass.
I told you Trump Plaza Gaza.
You will earn that. And then when they see it, they will think about how many children had to die or be raped by men on islands so that you could stick the Trump name upon a building. Let me tell you something.
Ooh, I would say this. She said what she had to say, and she has earned her applause. Hate Candace if you want to, but she kept it real. She kept it real. And speaking of keeping it real, because I understand what she's saying, and I didn't know it was going to be so quick, but did y'all know that Donald Trump is planning on putting this ridiculous looking statue up at the damn White House, known as the Trumpio Arc? The Trumpio Arc. Let me see if I can bring it full size here for you guys. This is the Trumpio Arc. If this isn't the biggest waste of resources I've seen, at least in the last couple of months. Like, weren't they doing a ballroom? Weren't they doing a ballroom or something? But anyway, so the White House put this out. Meanwhile, like you said, you heard Candace say, every time they see you put your name on a building, they're always going to remember that you were part of the Epstein class and that you did what you did and you sold out your own folks, that you told certain things and they believed you and believed in you. And then when it was time to show and prove, you didn't show and prove. That's what they're saying. And I can't say that they're incorrect in that and feeling that way, because there were some promises made and not promises kept. And that is the problem. So when they go down to DC and they get to see the new Trumpio Arc, which to me is relatively narcissistic, because you won't be president forever. So why do you get all these damn statues? Like, you haven't even done all that. You know, the Lincoln Memorial and all of that kind of stuff. Like, Abe Lincoln did some shit, if you want to be honest, like, as far as his legacy and impact on the American society, like, he actually did some shit. So having a memorial for him kind of makes sense. Martin Luther King has a memorial down in DC. Martin Luther King did what Martin Luther King did, which was he actually did some shit. So it makes sense, him having a memorial down there. But right now, America's too divided for you to feel like you should be exalted in the Capitol. That's the honest truth. I think you need to go figure out what's happening over in Iran. Gas price is still too damn high, so you got to bring that down. And maybe you'll start to win back some of your old base. But right now, just calling them names is not going to work. And calling Candace Owens names is not going to get her 4 million or however million subscribers she's got now on YouTube alone. She's got millions on YouTube alone. That's not going to get her to convince them to vote for you or anybody connected to you in the next election. So if you ever wanted to hear the name President J.D. Vance, I'm going to tell you right now, that's just not happening. Because you just turned on the people who would have supported that and would have gotten that out and would have gotten that person elected like they did you. And you turn your back on it, you burn that bridge. So I'm going to tell you right now, up until that, I wasn't sure that we wouldn't have, a Trump 2.0 and J.D. Vance come in right behind. Because up until that, those people were still kind of on his side. But now, they're saying, screw you, my guy. We're just being honest. You said you was going to do something, you didn't do it, so we called it out. And now that we calling it out, you calling us low IQ people? You calling us stupid? You calling us crazy? Actually, you might be the crazy one. I really, remember last episode I talked about the 25th Amendment where you could remove the president for them being crazy? And you had to just prove that they were deranged? They might be able to prove that shit. They might be able to get that case actually heard and present some pretty decent evidence. And they can put up them posts and be like, a normal non-crazy person wouldn't post all of this, especially not as the president. But, like I also said, the thing that they would have to prove is that he changed mentally in the process. And that I don't think they can prove because he's always been like this. He's always been over talking. He's always been on social media saying wild shit. He's always been saying the facts in the way that he wants to say them and not calling them lies. You see what I'm saying? So unless he differentiates from that, you can't say that he changed. And if he hasn't changed, then he's in the same mental state as when he was elected, meaning he would still be fit for duty. So that's going to be a really tough argument. But I'm going to say right now, there's no way, after he just turned on the largest names that were in the podcasting space, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Alex Jones, and Candace Owens. And I'm sure he's got some more names lined up. But when you attack those, you've easily covered 10 to 15 million people who pay attention to those creators, pay close attention to those creators, who could be swayed by those creators. You just lost 10 million people, not just for you, but for whoever came behind you. That is not a smart way of doing business. That's stupid. So you snitched on yourself in this regard. You snitched on yourself. You told them that you weren't loyal to them because they were loyal to you. Almost loyal to a fault. Even when people were asking questions and saying, well, I don't like this thing and I don't like that and I don't like what they're doing with deportation and blah, blah, blah. Y'all stuck with them. Y'all stuck with them. When he decided to kidnap the president, people started to raise an eyebrow. That was when they were like, well, that's interesting. But now recently, they started to say, all right, something doesn't smell right. Israel's name's in stuff too much, and America's name is in stuff too much where it doesn't need to be. And when it should be handled by people closer to the event and the situation. So, you have lost. You have lost. And I hate to say it, but you lost the election for whoever was coming behind you because of this shit. Because they're going to assume that whoever's coming from the same party is going to do the same thing. So they're going to ask them, well, what's different between you and Donald Trump? And then if you answer like Kamala Harris did and say nothing, like when she was talking about Joe Biden, like we see the same thing, then you're going to make people feel about you the way that they feel about this person before you. You won't be able to get your own base. So this was what I would call a nail in the coffin for the Republican Party because they had something going. They could have probably held out at least 2 or 3 more elections, easy, with the momentum that they had going. But once you take away the voice that actually got you into office, which was the internet, the Joe Rogans, all of that kind of shit, that's what got you in office. It wasn't your awesome and charismatic personality. I guarantee you it was not. It wasn't your awesomely funny jokes that you tell all the time. No, it was these people that had your back, that were going to bat for you, and you weren't paying them a cent. You weren't giving them nothing for saying that. You were just taking all of that good energy and saying, yeah, get these people to vote for me. And they were all brainwashed because they believed you. So, I get it. I get it. He wants to, and just like Al Bond put in there, my man Al, you're right. He just wants to be remembered somehow with something. That's why he keeps putting his name on shit. So that when he's not here, somebody will have a picture of him in the lobby of a freaking building somewhere in DC. I mean, he'll be in the White House because they have a picture of every president in there. In the Oval Office, I think they got all the presidents in there too. So he'll always be on a wall somewhere. But this whole let me build a structure, because it doesn't even have bathrooms in it. Like, it's just a structure with gold winged angels on the top. It's literally just a waste of resources. It has no actual use. Like, it doesn't even provide good shade. You got to be right under the middle of it. Other than that, you baking on the concrete. So that's goofy to me, and it's problematic. It's problematic only because I know that he can pull the strings, and this monstrosity will be sitting in D.C. And here's the even worse part: people are going to take time out of their life to go see it. To go see this bullshit right here. I don't know, I feel a certain type of way. I feel bad, not bad, but I feel offended on how he turned on them podcasters, because those names, like I said, are major. Each one of them has millions. And you just called them all shit after they were able to get millions of people to believe in you? And you're going to act like they didn't do that? Then you're not loyal. You're not even worth the time. You're not even worth the time. And I'm sorry for anybody that's MAGA or was MAGA and is waking up and understanding what was really going on the whole time, that this two-party system was never going to really work, because at the end of the day, it's one party and they are against us. They are the ones that come up with these ideas that we can't say anything about. They come to an idea and go to a war. We can't go down to D.C., knock on the door and say, hey, guys, let's not do this war thing y'all were talking about. We have no say-so. So they've been playing y'all. They play us every 4 years. They play us every 2 years. They've been playing us. We can't act like we don't see it anymore. So stop letting them tell you that we need to be divided as the American citizens when we all pay the same price for gas. And it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican or an independent or a Green Partyan or the New Party or the America Party. It doesn't matter. You still pay the same amount in gas. So do you know what that means? That means we the same. Whoever's in office, we all get affected. So maybe if we can start understanding that and start to come together on what we actually do support and hold people accountable for it, we might be better off. And to some degree, I give Candace Owens, Alex Jones, Megyn Kelly, and Tucker Carlson some props. And I'm going to tell you why. I give them props because when they realized they were wrong, they took accountability for it and apologized to their own audiences for being wrong about that, what they had pushed them towards. The accountability in and of itself makes Candace Owens more attractive than Brigitte Macron. Makes Megyn Kelly more attractive than Brigitte Macron, because they took accountability for leading people in a certain direction that was untrue. And when they realized it was untrue, they came in front of those same millions of people and said, hey guys, we're sorry, we were wrong. So for them, they get the applause. Yes, they do. Because they've earned it. Because they've earned it. And it's because they're worth it. So let me bring this back over full, and I'm about to get out of here. Man, loyalty is lost, yo. That's messed up. I'm gonna be honest, it's real messed up. Cause I remember how hard them people was going for him when that time was coming, and they were just so sold. They were so sold on that. Some of us still had questions because we can't believe much, because every time we believe it, it's always false when it comes to politicians. So it didn't matter if it was Donald Trump or Kamala Harris or anybody. They all be lying about stuff. Some stuff they do have good intentions on, but then they get into the office and they realize they can't do it because they have resistance on this side or that side or whatever. But Trump don't have that. He doesn't really have the same type of resistance. So everything he's doing is like the stuff he actually wants to do. And so when he's doing that and people are like, well, that's not what we thought you were going to do, they're very valid and justified in feeling like that. And he should just appreciate his constituents. They had your back, bro, and now you turned your back on them. So I hope you pay for that. I hope you pay for that. I hope your party pays for that in the next election. I really do. And that's not to be malicious, but a lesson must be learned. And it must be learned quickly because we don't have time to keep bullshitting with these people. I only live once. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I only have one of these lives. And I don't have time to play like I don't see what I see. Like, I trust my eyes. You know what I'm saying? I trust them. So when I see some shit and I think that I saw what I saw, I assume I'm right, that I saw it. And then I try to disprove what I saw, not doubt whether or not I saw what I saw. And I saw what I saw. Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson were, other than Joe Rogan, because that was the only name that got left out, were the biggest ones that got Trump elected. Charlie Kirk was another one, but he got shot in the neck. We see how that turned out. But as far as the podcaster thing, yeah. So nonetheless, let's get ready to get up out of here, because at the end of the day, this whole episode was all really just to prove one thing. Zero tolerance sounds real good. But the minute the spotlight turns to a certain person, then they can't tolerate it. You see what I'm saying? It explains a lot with why I get the certain flags on some of these videos. It explains a lot about our, people moving away from the MAGA movement, but it's zero tolerance. It's like as soon as you say something they don't like, forget everything you did, forget how much you had their back. Like you can't have a difference of opinion. And they literally start a smear campaign and they try to ostracize you and they try to destroy your character. That's what they do. That's what they do. Nobody's loyal. Nobody can remember that you just did all of that for them. It's like, what have you done for me lately? And if you haven't done for me lately what I thought you should have done for me lately, fuck you. And that's how these people act. So I'm curious to see which political person these folks start to put their energy behind for the next election. Will it be another Republican? Will it be J.D. Vance? Will it be somebody we haven't even thought of yet? Will it be some brand new party? Will it be Candace Owens or Megyn Kelly running for office? I don't know. Or Tucker Carlson. I don't think they would win, but I'm just saying, what if they did that? I don't believe that any of them could win the presidential election. But I didn't believe Trump could win the election. And damn sure didn't believe he could win it twice. So, hey, I've been wrong before. But I don't think I'm wrong in this one. I think he just put the nail in the coffin of the Republican Party, at least for the next election. And unless they come with somebody super different, they're going to lose. Because everybody's going to feel so slighted by what Trump has done. whether it's the things that he did to the SNAP benefits or when he, the multiple shutdowns dealing with the people not getting paid, TSA agents not getting paid. We had military didn't get paid at one point. Like, a lot of people are going to remember these pain points, and they're not going to want to vote for anybody that comes right behind that. So he's going to lose in that regard, and that sucks for him. But you got a chance. We gave you a chance. You didn't do what you had to do. And so the democratic and democracy system says that we can vote you out, and there will be no penalty for that because we're allowed to do it legally based on the Constitution. So I'm hoping that people do the right thing coming up in the future, because I think we've seen enough. I think we've seen enough. Even if you held out hope for those that did, at this point, I think we've seen enough, and it's time to start coming together and figuring out what we're going to do next and how we're going to mitigate what we have going on now, but more importantly, what we're going to do next, because that's what our children and grandchildren, that's the world that they're being given. They're going to be given a world with a Trumpio arc that their school will probably have to visit for some stupid ass reason. I don't even want that thing to go up. They took down Black Lives Matter Plaza because to them that didn't mean anything. So why does this get to go up? The point is, it's behind the say-so of a person that honestly is mentally too far gone to be any earthly good. He's too far gone. He's got too much power. He's done too much. He's been in power in the circles of the rich people for many years. This guy is definitely going to be unhinged. And we weren't surprised by that part. We're surprised by where the hinges are going. We're surprised by these posts. I'm surprised by this post. I'm surprised that he went and put a whole fucking book out about Candace Owens, Megyn Kelly, and Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones like that. Like, what they really do other than calling you on the bullshit. And maybe he's not used to people calling him on his bullshit. Maybe that's what the problem is. He's lived his life a certain way and people weren't calling him on bullshit. But in this regard, they're calling you on that bullshit. And I agree with them. I agree that that was bullshit. I agree that the Israel situation and how they get to seem to pull the strings of our American president, that sounds like some bullshit. Like, there's a lot of things that are bullshit, and I think they should be investigated. I think they should take some time to really understand them better. Because right now, we're basically stuck watching the bullshit. So we just got to be mindful that it exists. Don't involve ourselves in it, but be careful and cautious that it's always around. There's always some bullshit around. We got bullshit from the top down. You saw from the post from our own president. There is bullshit from the top down, from the presidential shit to your local shit to your job to your family. There is bullshit available at all times, and it needs to be purged because we all have to live here. We all have to live here. And if we can't live here in peace, then it's going to be nothing but war the whole time. And I don't want the rest of my life to always be conflict, divisiveness, and all of that bullshit. I want to purge it so we can get to the coasting, when it's nice. We can get to the fair weather. Right now we're in the storm. And this storm is messy. It's flooding shit, and people are dying. And this is, I know it's a metaphor, but y'all know it's also literal, because America seems like it's deflating. It seems like mentally we're deflating. People are doing crazier shit than I've ever seen before. And maybe it's because we can see it more because we have, digital cameras and all that kind of stuff everywhere. But maybe it's just because the world is crazier now. There's some shit in the food. We don't know what it is, but people are more willing to crash out over whatever, forgetting that they have certain opportunities, forgetting that they have these things going on. No, they want to crash out because at the time, it's just how they feel. When the president put up that post, that's how he felt at the time. And I feel like he wrote that himself because the language was very elementary, which is very much like how he talks. So when I see a post that's got really strong language, and not only strong language like profanity, but very precise punctuation, good emphasis on certain words. It's not elementary sounding. It seems like AI when it comes to his stuff. But he wrote this shit, and he stood on it, and he stands on it, 10 toes down. So if anybody's watching this show, if you were a big supporter of that situation, I'm not saying that you can't support what you supported at the time because you were given information that turned out to be false. But now we can say, looking back and looking at what's going on, that we're not really happy with where things are and maybe didn't necessarily think that this is where things would be. And so it's time to have a conversation about where we're going to take this thing the next time. Because at this point, I have zero tolerance for the bullshit. Zero tolerance for it. I'm over it. I've seen it enough, and I've been purging this shit for the last 2 years now. And thank you for everybody for supporting the channel for 2 years. But yeah, for the last 2 years, I've been purging this bullshit, and I never run out. Every week, never run out. Some people make the purge of the BS multiple times. So I hope for the best. I hope for the best for the folks, because it's a sad, sad situation when even the most annoying people who were together on something have no connected loyalty going forward. And I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. We definitely told you so. He said if he didn't keep those promises, that those people would turn on him, and that's what they did. But they didn't do it just because it was the thing to do. They did it because he did not keep his promises. So you keep your promise to yourself and make sure that you are a productive person out here in the world and not flooding the world with additional bullshit. We don't have any more time for it. So let me get my shout outs out. I got to get out of here. It's a little late. And that last story went a little longer than expected, but it was worth it. So special shouts to Purple Groovy, of course, for hanging out with me all night. I do appreciate you because you are worth it. You get the gong, okay? Yes. Purple Groovy was in here. We had Al Bond in here. We had IMZ in here. Genesis stopped by as well. And then there was a couple of people out in the rafters over there. The folks who were in the rafters, I appreciate you for hanging out in the rafters. Just make sure you hit the like button, hit the reactions, interact. You can jump in the chat as a subscribers chat, but starting this week, I'm going to open the chat up once we receive our first super chat of the night. So whenever we get a super chat, then I will open the chat to public. As long as I have two of my mods on there, we should be good. But that'll be starting on Tuesday. So just make sure that you are here for the next Purge of the Bullshit on Tuesday, because as usual, we'll have a lot to cover. I don't know exactly what it is just yet, but I just know I will have a lot to cover by then because it just keeps piling up. So if you're not here on Tuesday when we do our Tuesday show, then you already know what that is, right, guys? Y'all already know that, my friends, would definitely be the bullshit. And we out of here. Peace.